Hello and welcome back. Well, today we are going to do something different, guys. Today we're going to try to see if we can recover this dryer that I've taken apart. This is a Whirlpool Duo dryer. Before I get into it, I want to just kind of talk about how I got here. How did I get into this big mess I've got right now in front of me? I got the drum and everything taken off the front, and it's been making squeaking noises for, I don't know, on and off for probably about 6 months. And then as of lately, when you would turn it on, it would just like squeak like really bad, like you had a loose belt on your car, you know, how you get that squealing sound. And so I thought it was probably the belt. And so I started taking it apart, taking a look at it, and I got to it, and I actually got the belt off it now. And the belt actually doesn't look that bad. It actually looks pretty good. So I'm not convinced it's the belt. And while we're here, I'm kind of surprised I haven't burned the whole house down with all this lint that's in here. Like you can see the heating element here. It's got burn marks and that stuff. I'm kind of surprised the house hasn't burned down even, actually. So anyway, so if you guys are here to learn how to put this back together, then that's what this is all about. I'm going to order a kit from Amazon, and it should come with the belt and the pulley down here that I think we're going to place. And actually, I think this is probably what the problem is. Maybe this is squeaking, and this is probably wore out. And it's got these rollers here. This one goes pretty good, but this one is not so good. And then there's the same thing as on the front of it. There's two more of those pulleys. There's one here that kind of rolls, not really that great. This one actually does pretty good. So at least that one's bad. But I'm going to order a kit. I can get one from Amazon for about 24 bucks. I'm going to replace all the pulleys and the belt and that pulley tensioner. And we're going to put it all back together, and we're going to clean all that out of it too, so I don't end up burning down the house. I'm surprised that, you know, like, that's just a fire hazard waiting to happen, actually. Not sure why it's that so bad. It's about 10 years old, so. All right, here we are the next day, and my kit showed up from Amazon. It comes with new rollers. So it looks like we got 4 of those new rollers in the kit. It comes with a new roller for the tensioner on there, and it also comes with a new belt. I don't know if it's the right size belt, but we'll see if it is. This, like I said, this belt does not look bad at all. I may just put this belt back on it, actually, and save this one for another day, maybe. I don't know if it'll be the right size or not. Hopefully it is. And then here's the other piece. It's a whole other tensioner piece set up for that's going to go down here. So next we're going to vacuum all of that out of there with a vacuum and kind of clean up the edges of this. There's some down there in the base plate on that too. So kind of just clean it all up, and then we'll start replacing the rollers and eventually get to that bracket. When I get to putting this back on, it's going to be kind of hard to see it because I'm only doing it from the front, not really in the back side of it. So I'll kind of have to show you that how it is before I actually finish it all up. But let's get it cleaned up next. All right, I tried vacuuming up with the vacuum, but that just clogs the vacuum up pretty much. So we're going to go to the elbow grease method. Just use our hands and get all this off of here. I believe the reason this happened is because I don't think it was connected to the vent in the back correctly, so I think it was getting blowback into the system. And so maybe it's a good thing that it had the problem, so we can get this cleaned up before we burn the house down. So there's a whole rat there, guys. So in the kit comes these triangle, I guess I'd call them washers, that go over these wheels. You can see one right here. Maybe you can see it right there, the tip of my screwdriver. There's one on that, and there's one on the back side too. And so you have to take those off, and then these come off. I've already replaced this one, and you can see it's really nice now. So getting these washers on here has definitely been the hardest part of this whole process, or without breaking them. You get extra ones in the kit or new ones that come in the kit, so if you break the ones that are on here, not the end of the world, but you want to make sure if you do break these, this is all you got, right? The extra ones there. So I'll show you the process of what I do with the screwdriver here to kind of see what I did, so you guys can hopefully see there in the light. It's this plastic piece right here, and I tried to get in there with the screwdriver, kind of wedge it up a little bit. That one came off super easy. So that's the one that's on there. It's the ones on the back side that are a little difficult. And then the wheel comes straight up. If I can get a hold of it here. Comes straight off of there. So there's the wheel. And then you got all this extra gunk that's on around it that you want to get off of it, obviously. And then here's the one on the bottom I was talking about. And I've debated on whether I should even take that off at this point. Maybe I'm going to leave that one on. It just kind of helps the wheel ride in between it there. So rather than break it like I did the other one, because it's really difficult to get this back on, because there's a bevel on this that these kind of stick in, and there's a bevel on the one down there. So when you put this one on, it's harder to get it past that bevel to move it down the rest of the way. So I'm going to just leave those on there. Those don't look really that bad. I don't think it's going to cause that much of an issue. For the lifespan that this dryer's probably got left in it. There's the new wheel on it. Spins pretty good compared to what the old one did. I could spray some WD-40 in there too if I wanted, but I don't think it's really going to matter. And then here's one of the new triangles. They just kind of pop on here. If I can get them in that bevel. Might have to use the screwdriver. Oh, there it goes. And so that one's in place. So that's really the process to get the wheel on there. I'm not going to make you guys watch me struggle with the ones that are back there, because there's two more that are back there that I got to do this with. So I'm going to do those next off camera, and then we'll work on starting to put this thing back together. Alright, so I put the one on down here. I've got that one off, the second one off over there. Here's the wheel that goes on it. Just slides on there. Spins pretty good. Here's the triangle washer that goes on it. They kind of just pop on here pretty easily. There we go. So we got all the rollers on here now. Got this roller, this roller. Just need to replace this roller here, which is just, I think this was the real problem. Turn the light around here so you guys can see. I think this one here was the real problem. You can see it's just really tight. So in the kit it comes with a replacement roller for that, but it looks like I can just take this screw off back here and I can replace this whole lever. Not sure which one will be easier. Maybe it'd be easier to just take that plastic piece off. It's got a little triangle on it like the other ones do. I'm going to try and pry that off and put the new wheel on it, and then we don't have to really mess with the bracket in. And then this just raises up to hold tension on that belt when it calls put back together. I'll show you that here in a second. Let's see if we can get that off there really quick and see how hard it is. So here's my screwdriver. It's one of these triangles that are like right here. I can just pry it up this way. And I really don't even care if I break this one, to be honest, since it's kind of hard to do it because I can't really see. There we go. Did I break it? Yeah, I broke that one when I pulled it off, right? It's in pieces, but that's okay because I've got extra ones here. And that should just slide right off. Should have another one on the back of it, which it does. It's got a round one here on the back of it, which I could even place that one too, because I've got an extra round one that came in the kit. So let's go ahead and take this round one off too. It doesn't look too bad. But here's the new round one that came in the kit. Just going to slide that on there. Slide the wheel. That works so much better. Put this on the end of it here. There we go. We're done. So that's it. I've got the two rollers on it. I've got a new roller here. Got the two rollers on the front. And then all we got to do is wrap the belt back around that and then slide that back into here. Get the belt wrapped around that pulley system. I'll show you how that looks before I actually put it back together. And before we do that, let's just see if that belt, I'm not going to worry about it. This belt is perfectly fine. I'm going to put this belt back on it, so I won't even take this belt out of the package. So I'll just leave it in there for maybe next time if I need it. So the way this drum is set up is the bevel here is, I believe, the back side of it. This is the back side of the drum, and that is the front side of it. So I need to flip this around. and make sure it connects back in there. And I'm going to put that belt on there to kind of lift it into place and use the belt to kind of help me. But let me show you guys real quick how it hooks up down there. So I believe this is how the belt will hook onto it. You make sure the rib side of it, it's got a rib side on it here. You can kind of see in here there's a rib in it. That goes around the motor, which has got grooves in it. And then the belt wraps around this tensioner back on this side. And then the rest of this will wrap around the drum. And so this tensioner kind of holds that belt in place. I believe that's how it goes back together. We're going to give it a try. So here I'm just kind of using the belt to kind of hold this up. Kind of squeeze it in here. Make sure that belt kind of stays in place. And then make sure the back kind of sits on those rollers. Just like that. That's how it needs to be. I'm going to let the tension off the belt go down. And then I'm going to try and reach back there and see if I can get that on that pulley. If I can't, then I'll have to open up the back side of it to get it back there. But let's see if I can get it done or not. I can see the motor pulley there, and it's around that now. Now it's a matter of getting it across the other side of that tensioner, I think. All right, I was able to reach back there and do it. I know you guys won't be able to see very well, but I was able to reach back through here to put that belt back on. And so now that belt is on there, on the motor like it's supposed to be. So now all we got to do is get the front piece hooked back up to it and start putting it back together. Alright, so I kind of just laid the dryer back at a tilt. It's at a 45-degree tilt there. Kind of laid that front on there. Make sure that the pulleys inside of this that we put on this are kind of hooking up with the lip of that drum. And then I basically have to just pull it up and hook it on each of these attachments here. I'm going to see if I can do it here with the camera going. There's that one on that side. And this one on this side. So they're both kind of hanging there, right? I think the drum is in there like it's supposed to be. Well, maybe not. After a little bit of persuasion, I think I just had this on the outside of this lip, so I had to make sure I got that inside of there on both sides. Then it kind of lines up. You can see here it's in there, it's moving. Still kind of hear it making a squeaking noise though, so I'm kind of wondering if we're going to end up with the same squeaking noise or not, although it's at a 45-degree angle right now, so maybe we'll make it just afterwards. But now that I've got that on there, it's a couple of simple screws to put it back in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So those screws will hold this back on. One there. So now it's just a matter of putting this thing back together, guys. It should go pretty quick at this point. There are a lot of screws to put this back together. And like I said, to do it, you just have to do this in reverse order to take it all apart, right? You just got to do everything I'm doing right now in reverse order. So that is on there now. That will clip up there. We've got a clip over here we've got to put on. I believe that is for the, maybe it's a moisture sensor. Not sure. Now that that's on there, then we can put on this plate that goes down here. Just kind of slides up on this. There's a little hook. There's a little hook down here in the bottom of it. So you want to make sure that gets hooked in there. We could take this bracket off if we need to. I'm going to have to use two hands to do this real quick. So I had to use two hands to kind of get that hook in place. And it's got a couple of screws on it here. One that goes here at the top. And I believe there was one over here. I'm kind of just remembering from doing it from yesterday. If I had the parts and did this all in one day, it'd be a little bit easier to remember where everything went, right? And I think there was one over on the other side over here. It looks like there is. Over on this side, there's one more. Most of these screws are all the same size that I found, except for the ones that are at the very bottom. They appear to be longer, so I kept those separate. I'll show you those in a second. Basically, it's the ones that came out from down here. Here. I think there was some in here, right? These are the ones that were longer than the rest of them. But that's back on now. That's where all of the lint gets sucked into it. We are in the home run at this point. All right, to put the front back on it, the front's kind of heavy, so I'm gonna go ahead and lean this back down. Kind of push it back some here. At this point, our drum's good, right? It's all put back together. It's on the rollers. The belt is in there. This obviously will be up here, so it won't be rubbing against it. Got two connections up here we got to put back together. This will be up high, so it won't be rubbing against this drum, but I think this is going to work out pretty well, guys. But now that I have it back down like that, let's get the front on it here. All right, I've kind of changed my mind after playing with it a little bit here off the camera. I think I am going to kind of lean this back again. Like that, and then this front will lay on top of here. We got this one connection. We've got this one connection here that we'll have to make sure goes up to the top. But it seems like it's going to be a lot easier to hook this up with it kind of laying back here. Now that I have it laying back there, kind of leveraging it with my leg here, there's one screw up here. You guys can probably see, maybe you can't see, that I'm going to get in there, and that'll hold the front plate on it. I can do the rest of them from there. All right, that one's there. I'm going to do the one on the other side over here. I'm going to do the one over here now on this side to kind of hold it up. Here we go, the front is on there now. There were some screws inside of it here. Two screws right here. You can see down here there's one here, and there's another one over on this side over here, and they are Phillips head screws. So the screws that were there were these two screws, if you guys can see those. I think it's because I don't want anything protruding out of here, right, when you're pulling clothes in and out of it. So this will help you from anybody getting hurt. Here's the second one. And at this point, this front piece is on here pretty tight. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and leave it kind of leaned on the back here a little bit, so I can get to the screws that are in the bottom of it here. So you've got screws in the bottom of it here you need to put in here. And that's what I was talking about before, about those screws appear to be longer. They were these longer screws. At least I got three of them there. I wonder where the other one went. As opposed to the short screws. Yeah, you can see some of these are a little bit longer. These are shorter ones here. Those are shorter ones. These are the longer ones that were down at the bottom of it. Got one more screw back here, it looks like. So I'll put those longer ones in the bottom of it here in the front. Looks like there should be 4, so maybe I'm missing one, but I'm not going to worry about it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, but maybe 2 of those were short ones. All these screws have 1/4 inch heads on them too. So the heads on them are all the same. So now the front of it is all back on. I'm going to lean it back down here again. Push it back here. A couple more pieces to go is this top rack that goes on here. See if I can remember which way this went on. Alright, I'm going to point out something I did wrong from before. So this piece, I kind of put it in here. Before you put this front piece on here, this needs to go back in here. And then this kind of hooks up to it, right there, and right here on the corner. So that would have helped it hold it into place. So I kind of had to push it back in there. I had to take the top 2 screws off of this to loosen that up enough to pull that out. But now it's back in there where it needs to be. Now I can start putting the rest of the screws in that. So now that I've got that put back in there, I'm going to go ahead and put these top 2 screws on here. Probably would have made this a lot easier to put this front piece on there if I had it on there first, but I didn't realize it at the time. Alright, second mistake I've come into when I'm putting this back on. The way this front piece hangs on there is just a screw there and a screw here. And so these 2 front screws are on top of this. One here and then one over on the other corner. If you guys can see over here on the other corner, I got to take those 2 out and this will slide right on top of it. I'm going to have to feed the wires of this through here to do that, to hook all the back of it in there. But let's take those 2 screws out first. We are getting to the end zone at this point because I'm running out of screws. And so this face plate, the wires go through here. Face plate just kind of pops on there. It's all in place. And let's put those 2 screws back. There's that one. There's this one. And at this point, it should run, right? We should be able to plug it back in. Since this is an electric dryer, it's not a gas dryer, which makes it a little bit easier to plug it back in and try it out. But at this point, it should work. So I'm going to plug it in and see what it does. Before I can plug it in and try it out, we got to connect these connectors back in up here on the top. We got this connector here that goes with this one, and they're all different sizes, so it's kind of plug and play. This one on the end here, right here, goes to this humidity sensor. Change the camera angle there. You can see here's the humidity sensor on this one right here. That one plugs into that. And then this one up here plugs into right here. Oh, another step I forgot to do before I do that though is I'm going to put this piece back on there. So here's another piece I forgot, right guys, when I was taking this apart. This metal bracket's got to go on top of this. So rather than take this all apart up here, I'm going to just take the bolt off back on the back side of it there. Then it'll rise up and I can lay it on here because I can tell this is too tight to pull across there. So these are all the mistakes you make when you do this in 2 different days. You don't remember the whole order you did it to take it apart. So now I've got that out on both sides. I can put a screw here and put a screw back there. And I've got enough space now to put this on that here. So I've got all the connections back like I need. put these screws back in here. There's one there. The other one will go right here in the front. And at this point, we should be able to plug it in and see if it's got power, because all we got to do now is just put the top lid and put these two screws on the top and we're done. One screw here, one screw back there. So let's plug it in. Got it plugged in the back there. See if the power button will come on. We got power. Let's see if the squeal has gone away. Look at that, guys. It's going. And no squealing. I am so happy about that. That is pretty cool. 24 bucks. We got the dryer going again. I can actually smell the heat coming out of it too. We will have to hook the vent back up on the back here. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that. But yeah, it's going. Super happy about that, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on it. Put the top screws in it. So I'm going to call that victory, guys. I'll get the top put back on it. You guys don't need to watch me do that. You got to make sure you hook it back up to the vent on the back, obviously, when you put it into place. But hey, we got the dryer back going for $24. That's pretty cool. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video. Tell me what you think about the process I went through here. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We got all kinds of cool stuff on the channel. Go check it out and see what you think. We'll see you guys on the next one.